This is Sun Gods and Astronomy. So, let's talk about Marduk. Marduk's name in Sumerian would be Amar Yutu. Now, Amar Yutu literally means the bull calf of the Yutu. Now, what's interesting about this is he's being called the calf of Yutu, which means he is the son of the sun god Yutu from the Sumerian religion. As Marduk in the Sumerian is the son of Yutu. I'm going to make it clear that Marduk and Amar Yutu are pretty much the same name. It's in its original, Amar Yutu would be pretty much what it is in a sense, but there are other cases where he is called Amara Duke. So, with that being said, another thing to point out is that Marduk is said to have his chariot driven by 4 horses. What is interesting is that in Greece, the sun god Helios is said to have his chariot pulled by 4 horses as well. And with Marduk being the son of Yutu, the sun god, the interesting thing about this is that Helios' father is Hyperion, a Titan god of light. Now, going back to Marduk for a second, he originally was the son of Yutu. However, he later became the son of Ea, but he was not originally his son. He was originally the son of Yutu, but there's been a change. Anyhow, with Hyperion being the Titan god of light and being Helios' father, and Yutu, the sun god, being the father of a sun god himself, it's pretty much the same thing, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Now, the next interesting thing is that when we compare the depictions of the combination deity called Apollo Helios. Now, Apollo and Helios were 2 different gods combined into one god. When they are being identified as the same god. However, Helios and Apollo, if you look at the 2 characters, Apollo and Helios were originally different. But anyway, when we look at the depiction of Apollo Helios with Jesus as well, we see that they're both depicted with solar halos behind their head. What's also interesting is you can see 7 rays emanating from the halo of the sun behind the head of Apollo Helios. Now, this reminds me of the 4 horsemen in the New Testament. It also reminds me of the 7 seals. It also reminds me of 7 days of the week. Because when we look at the numerology between all of this, it's very similar. And this is not the only instance. There are many other instances. Another fine example is it was said that Jesus fasted for 40 days. The Israelites were said to have traveled for 40 years before reaching the Promised Land. Another interesting thing is you have 12 apostles. You also have the 12 signs of the zodiac. And then you have the 12 tribes of Israel. And when you have the 4 horses, you have the 4 horsemen. So, what do you think about all this?
Well, first, sound like you're making a point on the whole, when you were comparing Helios to Jesus, you were saying how they had sun discs around their heads, and then they had the sun rays of the sun around their head as well. That's clearly a depiction of acknowledging the sun, knowing that these people were personified as the sun. And then when you're mentioning the numbers, those were, I feel like it's containing a little bit of numerology.
Yes. And what I was saying is that Apollo Helios has 7 rays emanating from the sun. Helios is often said to have 7 rays emanating from the sun, from him anyway. Now, when we look at the halos of Jesus, I wasn't saying that the 2 are both depicted with rays emanating from their halos, but the point that I was trying to make is that both of them are depicted with the sun halo, solar halo, behind their heads. And I was talking, and like I was saying earlier, I was talking about the 7 rays of the sun, the 7 seals, the 4 horsemen, the 4 horses that drive the chariot of Helios. That's what I was saying, amongst other things. So, is there anything else that you would like to talk about in the meantime?
Well, I was going to add to when you look at the Bible itself, when you look at the etymology of the word the Holy Bible, the word holy, which is, when you look at the etymology, it actually comes from Helios. And then Bible, which is Bible, so you put it together, it means sun book. So Helios, from the character that we're talking about, is based off of sun deity, which was then, I believe, plagiarized and added to Jesus and gave him the same attributes as Helios. Would you agree?
Yes, and the Romans knew Helios. They often one second. Yeah. His Roman name is Sol, which, if you look up the word Sol, it literally means sun. Sol and sun. Yeah. The word Sol means sun in the Latin. So, with all that being said, yes, it is based on Helios, whom is the same as Sol.
But I also want to make a last call. I remember you mentioning numerology, how Helios has the 7 rays, like I said. That could also be, it's kind of similar to like the 7 days of the week, 7 continents, and stuff like that. Oh yeah, and 40 days and 40 nights, which you can also tie to like the Genesis story as well. So it's all based on repeating numbers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Going back to the flood story, that is.
Yeah. Well, with all that being said, is there anything else that you'd like to talk about before we close out?
That should be it.
Well, all right. I think that's pretty much it.